I suspect that my outfit will give away several things in regards to what happened yesterday and what's going on today. So I'm going to step in front of the camera and I want to know if any of you can actually guess what it is, or they are. So, without further ado, I kind of didn't think the logo would appear so small on camera. This is this is awkward. And I'll just do the usual stuff. Good morning, happy Sunday, everybody. Yeah. It seems that for the last couple of years, like right around the first weekend of May, it winds up being somewhat of a turning point for the year. I mean, in 2024, in April 2024, my grandmother died. And it was that first weekend in May that same year that, I went to Sonny's for the first time and ran into some people and had a great time going to Sonny's. A year later, that's when I went to the Polar Bear Plunge and saw Blue Eyed Soul Air that evening. And last night, not only did that trend continue, but I don't think I'm ever going to be able to top this. This was the type of night where I knew what was going to happen, and I knew what I was in for. And it would have ended there, and that would have been fine. But, listen, you saw the title of the YouTube video. You know what's coming, but on the off chance you're not seeing this on YouTube, I met a very famous individual last night. In fact, my low is I was actually quite nervous about meeting this person. My high is virtually everything else that happened. And my act of kindness was, I actually held the door going into this event that I went to. So, good Lord, where do I start? Well, okay, so last night, LeeCom finished its tribute band series with both a Rolling Stones cover band and a Led Zeppelin cover band. And they were both outstanding in every way. My father told me many times how great both of those bands are. And yeah, it's pretty hard to go wrong with any of that music in terms of, what your preferences are. There are people who probably don't even listen to music that much, but they know who the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin are. Two of the greatest rock and roll bands in history. The Rolling Stones with their, rock and roll. Led Zeppelin also with their rock and roll. Not to mention Led Zeppelin easily has one of the greatest slow dance songs of all time, being Stairway to Heaven. Those are actually my father's words, not mine. But you know what? I believe it. Because I love my dad, of course. This concert really, again, this was an evening where, the concert would have been just what it was. And I would have said it was phenomenal. I actually got to sit VIP with some very special people. We actually met for dinner over at Round and Third. Shout out to Round and Third. That the meal was awesome. I got myself some wings and garlic fries. It was very good. Again, shot to round and third. And from there, we walked over to Lecom. And here's the thing. I kind of knew this was going on, but I never really understood the significance of it until I saw it in person. But to understand what this was, I do need to take you on a bit of a trivia-related journey. I guess is the way to describe it. I don't know. If you've ever been to the city of Elmira, or well within the area of the city of Elmira, then chances are you know of a name known simply as Hilfiger. As in Tommy Hilfiger. Well, obviously I just gave away. It's a brand of very stylish, very nice looking clothes that was founded by a man named Tommy Hilfiger. I would dare to say that in my entire life, when it comes, because, there are plenty of different name brand products that I wear, I have, Under Armour stuff. I have LL Bean stuff. But if you were to ask me, throughout my entire life, what's the one brand I've worn in the most abundance throughout my entire life, I would genuinely say it's Tommy Hilfiger. By the way, Tommy Hilfiger is not sponsoring this video at all. But it'd be cool. I mean, listen, you could. If Tommy Hilfiger, if you watch this, you could sponsor me. I'd do you right, man. I would. So there was a big pop-up that featured Hilfiger clothing that was inspired by the event going on. Again, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin tribute cover bands. And I don't even know how to say this without being fancy with it, so I'll just go right out and say it. Tommy Hilfiger's brother Andrew Hilfiger was there. I got to meet Andrew Hilfiger last night. I said earlier in this video that my low was I was really nervous about something last night, and for real, I was legit nervous about, meeting Andrew Hilfiger. I mean, Hilfiger. If what I said before wasn't any indication, I mean, Hilfiger's a veritable household name, not just here in Elmira, but all across the nation. There used to be a Tommy Hilfiger store in the city of Corning that sadly closed. I think it was partly because of, the pandemic related stuff, which, come on, it's the pandemic. And, throughout the evening, I'm like, man, what do I do? What do I say? How do I approach him? This is Andrew Hilfiger. What am I supposed to do? And I can tell you right now, Andrew Hilfiger is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I am being 110% sincere when I tell you that he's a really cool guy. So nice, in fact, that I hope to be as nice of a guy as he is. For real. And I mean, yeah, looking back on it, it is silly that I kind of, put off meeting him for a little bit. I got nervous. Again, I've worn Tommy Hilfiger stuff for the majority of my life. If I had $1 for every Tommy Hilfiger article of clothing that, not just me, but my family's ever purchased. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily be a rich person, but I'd have a hefty sum of money, I'll say that. And, I got to meet the man, I got to meet the man who designed this shirt, essentially. Actually, hold on a second. So for real, it's like high 40s, low 50s. I was planning on wearing this jacket, and guess what? It's also Hilfiger brand. You got the... It said Hilfiger on the side somewhere, didn't it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, it's Hilfiger brand. Like, I was legit thinking... Oh, here it is. It says Hilfiger on here, too. And it's even in... Wow, it says Hilfiger all over this, Jeff. I didn't even realize that until just now. I was thinking about wearing this going out today because Chris Stein Brewing Company has Cheese Fest. That's why I'm wearing the orange shirt, because, cheese is usually orange sometimes. But yeah, again, last night would have simply been, just the concert, and I would have said it was a phenomenal evening. But, I got to meet somebody famous. I got to meet, someone who's a veritable household name. Although it's funny, I actually had no idea that Tommy Hilfiger had any siblings whatsoever. I mean, I would imagine he would have to have a family because, why else is anyone here without a family, am I right? But, it's really cool that, his brother Andrew was there. I got to meet him. I got to take a picture with him. And he was just a really sweet guy. He is. I'm so embarrassed for myself that I was even nervous about, meeting him. And if I could do that night all over again, I would have just gone and talked to him a lot sooner. Because, full stop, I didn't really get a chance to talk to him until the after party was going on after the concert. So I was out really late last night. I think it was well after midnight when I finally got to sleep. Actually, it was after midnight when I got to bed. It was almost 2 a.m. when I actually went to sleep. Oops. Oh dear, I'm tired. This was just a wonderful evening. It was, I got to hang with people that are some of the nicest in the area. You guys know who you are. I got to hear music that I've heard that I grew up with. I mean, it's the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin. Yes, these were tribute cover bands, but they were damn good. These were really good tribute cover bands. It got everybody excited. Everybody was up and dancing and stuff like that. I was singing along to a lot of the songs. Was there anything about the show that I would have wanted to see? Well, here's the thing. I mentioned Stairway to Heaven earlier, and the Led Zeppelin cover band did play that song, but they really marketed it as the finale of the show, but then they had 2 more songs, which is fine. I mean, literally any of the greatest Led Zeppelin and Rolling Stone songs they played last night. Led Zeppelin did Stairway to Heaven, The Immigrant Song, just to name a couple. Rolling Stones cover band did Painted Black. You Can't Always Get What You Want. Satisfaction. I mean, come on. How do you... Seriously, I mean, I'm sure there are some people who don't really find that type of music all that exciting to find. I'm sure, and different strokes for different folks. I'm not going to yuck on your yum, but I'd be hard pressed to find anyone who could hear any of those songs last night and not have a smile on their face. Because I can tell you right now, there wasn't a single soul that I saw throughout that entire evening that wasn't smiling at what was going on. And I am very happy to say that, I was there. I got to see it. And where I was sitting was really great too. Because it took place in not like in the actual big arena of LeagueCon, but like the side arena where they have like field hockey and stuff, or box lacrosse. And you had like the band in like the back center, and there was like two giant platforms, I guess. One side, both sides of the VIPs. I was on the right side of the VIPs. And I had a great view of the show from where I was sitting. It also helps the fact, I'm 6'4" and therefore really tall, so not really that much effort for me to look over people's heads. Of course, I try to be courteous to those who are not as tall as I am. I try to move out of the way for those who couldn't see very well, because that's just the polite thing to do. And that was my act of kindness. I moved out of the way for people who couldn't see. That's what I did. And again, man, meeting Andrew Hilfiger was the icing on this already delicious cake. Actually, it wasn't just the ice cream. It wasn't just the icing. It was the scoop of ice cream next to the piece of cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was, I got to meet Andrew Hilfiger, man. I'm never going to forget that. Yeah, so to the Hilfiger family and Hilfiger company, thank you for, making the clothes that I myself have worn for most of my life. I can say I've had this shirt for, I'd say maybe 2 years now. I love wearing this shirt, and honestly, it's a nice day to wear a shirt like this. So I'm happy. And you know what? Again, I got my got a Hilfiger jacket, just for the occasion. Just for today. I'm excited to wear it. Yeah, what can I say? This is awesome. And I'm going to end the weekend off at Cheese Fest. I hope you all like this video. If you like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel, on social media. As always, I'm very humble. This video for all you guys who are watching Joe Fernando. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Remember, if you guys want to talk, James, you're here. I always have your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.